This is Tech Talk Detroit with Brian Spurgeon and Chuck Lobert. Tech Talk Detroit brings you the latest in tech news and Detroit happenings every week.
I hope you're having a good day and a good week. We thought we would take some time. We realized as we were kind of going through the previous episodes that we never really did anything where we kind of presented who we were and our history and our background. And so we thought we'd take some time today and do that. But first, Brian, how was your weekend? Did you get a chance to enjoy the weather at all? Did you get out on your boat or anything at all?
No boating this weekend. I did get out, hit a round of golf. That was nice. Except for the fact that we didn't get a tee time till noon, and it was about 95 degrees. I don't know. Golf this year's been tough. It's with nothing else going on. There's so many more people playing. It's so hard to get a tee time, but it was good to get out. And aside from that, I kind of took it easy. I'm not gonna lie. What about you?
Where'd you guys go golfing at?
St. Clair Shores Golf Club near the house. So it's
nice.
only 10-minute drive from me, and honestly, they do a very good job of keeping up on it. It's a course where if you hit a bad shot, it's forgiving in terms of correcting it, which is perfect for me. So
my favorite kind.
I'm good enough to play, but not very good. So I'm all about those forgiving courses.
For sure. Yeah, I got some stuff done around the house. On Saturday, I had a funeral that we attended on Zoom, which was different for sure. But it was nice that we were still able to do something, so that was good. And then yesterday, I've been looking for a bike for my daughter. So I was actually out by you yesterday morning. Ended up, where was I? Like Grossbeck and 696 basically to buy a used mountain bike for my daughter at 8:30 in the morning, which was great. Coming from Brighton at 8:30 in the morning. I don't know why I agreed to get up that early, but whatever. And then I actually went out mountain biking last night. I used to do that a lot, but it's been a couple of years, so I had to dust off the bike, and I was going through there, and my brakes weren't working real well. My hydration pack was leaking down my back as opposed to coming out the way it's supposed to and actually hydrating me. So that was awesome, but it was cool. It was fun to get out there again, and like I say, it was the first time in a couple of years. I used to go at least once or twice a week, so it was really nice to get out there. And then just still working on the basement, getting the home gym going, so got a bit more done with that too, so that was nice.
Yeah, which from the pictures it looks awesome, so well done on there. I'm pretty jealous about that. I certainly could use the home gym, considering I haven't done anything of any physical activity in about 4 months.
Yeah, my physical activity's been building a home gym. I haven't actually used the equipment yet, so I don't know if it's going to actually help me or not, because once I'm done building it, then I actually got to start using it, so we'll see. But yeah, I got a treadmill that we already had. I picked up one of those multi-station weight machines off of Facebook Marketplace, and I bought a rower, and I'm waiting on a spin bike. So hoping with a bit of variety that it'll get me down there and get going with it. But I think I realized today that I need a dehumidifier down there too. So that'll be the next thing. But anyways, as we mentioned, we kind of wanted to take some time today and just kind of talk through our history, in the field and in the technology field, as well as our history with Vision. Tell you a little bit about ourselves, a little bit about Vision, and just kind of we realized, like I say, that we just kind of jumped into this podcast and started hitting all these different topics, but we never really came back and took the time to explain, who we were and what our history is. So. With that, why don't we get started? Brian, you've been now with Vision for, I think, 10 years? Is that correct?
Yeah, at least 10 years. I think
it feels like 20 at least. But.
I know, right? Absolutely. Yeah, it's been quite a while, and since I started, the company has changed dramatically. I'm as most people are when you're with the company for that amount of time, but. Actually, I think you were the person that interviewed me when I hired in. I was coming from a huge corporate help desk. obviously I was able to pull the wool over your eyes, and here we are.
One of the biggest mistakes of my career.
But yeah, when I hired in, it was for service desk help. Was just a service desk engineer, answering calls, and from there kind of moved into doing the deliveries, the drop-offs, things like that for clients. And I think about the 4 or 5 year mark at the company, I switched gears and really started to deliver the projects when we were just a one-man project team. And then from there, basically moved on to build out that department further. And now I oversee all the technology side of the company. So kind of had a full circle in terms of just being on the front lines, getting the project experience, the design, understanding how to put together a sale and present it so it's comprehensive. And then now just full circle managing all the guys that now do all the roles that I held previously. So from my standpoint, just personal development, Vision's been a blessing. I've been able to do things that I think, 15 years ago, I never thought I would have been able to do, and really had an opportunity to learn from just experience and also learn from mistakes. And I think, obviously we're coming in, well into this podcast with kind of this who we are. And I think a lot of that was because when we started this, we wanted it to be about the tech and your business and methodologies and offer, tips and suggestions of product lines. We didn't want it to be about Vision, be about us. So, with that being said, though, we've had so much growth within this company that everything we speak about is our personal experiences with the company. So I do think it is a good time to just kind of talk about that a bit to validate, where we're coming from. Now you've been with the company way longer, so.
Yeah, it's because I'm old. Yeah, and I think, in reality, everything's about us, Brian. So eventually we were going to have to get here anyways.
Yeah, you could only delay the inevitable for so long,
We make it about us in some way at all times. But so, going back a little bit, what got you into the tech field? What was your interest there? Why technology?
Yeah, it's funny. It's like it always, going back to like high school, middle school, I think everybody remembers getting your first computer, tearing it apart, trying to put it back together. That part always interests me in terms of computers. That's where from a hobby standpoint, it kicked in. But actually, I went to college for medical, did EMT. I had this whole path that's what I was going to do. And actually, I kind of chose not to go for computer stuff. For one, there wasn't very great degrees at the time. Certainly nothing like we do now. What I do now, if that was an option then, I probably have been more interested. But, I think just like a lot of people, I was just chasing the idea of, becoming a doctor and such. And, but I always worked computer jobs, computer repair shops. I did the Best Buy and the Circuit City thing for a while, doing a lot of installs for businesses there. So it always was my means of making a living and hobby, but I didn't want it to be my career because I always felt like I would lose a little bit of that interest. But I think, when it became clear that medical wasn't the passion, that was kind of where I switched gears and was like, all right, I need to focus on what I do well and what I enjoy. It's better to have a career that you want to wake up and go to work and contribute to every day, as opposed to trying to chase, money or
Absolutely.
chase a title. And I think it took me a little while to come to that realization. So that's kind of how I got started, was into that realm. And my first real taste in terms of supporting businesses and business level IT was, I got a job working for a company that basically was how you picture a help desk when you call a typical 800 number for a big company. It's a huge warehouse, open warehouse type layout, and there's 1,000 cubicles as far as the eye can see, and above every section of cubicle is the company signage that particular section supports. So that was like my first real experience with corporate level IT, and it was wild. It was the first experience with having to have service level agreements, answer calls as quick as you can, don't keep them on hold longer than a minute, follow this work instruction script properly, right? And it was a very corporate, process-driven environment, which was actually great for my development because we're kind of now full circle. Our business has grown a lot more. It's kind of the same approach that we take to it. So I was able to take a lot from that job, being the grunt of it, not on the process development side, and apply it later on. But that was the real big taste of IT that I had. And, I did a couple big contracts and got some great experience. So that was kind of how it started.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, like you here for a long time, 16 years now. I remember when I was coming over here from the Dearborn School District, is where I worked previously, and Vision had a person that was contracted to the Dearborn School District for like 4 hours a day or something like that, and I worked along with him quite a bit. And so at one point he came up to me and he said, "Hey, if you know anybody, we're looking to hire." And he was kind of standing behind my shoulder, and so I typed on my computer, "Am I allowed to be interested in this?" And he said, "Well, that's why I was mentioning it to you. If you're interested, I'll find out." And so I said I was. So he talked to my boss at Dearborn, and they worked it all out, and I was able to come to Vision. But I remember part of the process, I was negotiating for immediate healthcare support because my wife was pregnant with our oldest daughter, who is about to turn 16. So it's been 16 years now. That was in April that I had been here for 16 years. So like I say, I'm old now. I've got a kid that's about to start driving, and likewise, I kind of started on the service desk side of things. I was here before we were doing managed services, but we were kind of doing our flavor, I guess, of managed services before managed services was really a thing. And I'd go out and do maintenance on computers and work trouble tickets and do projects, and kind of followed a very similar path to you. Went from the service side of things to the project side of things to the sales engineering side of things. At that point we had our VP of sales would handle like the actual sales of new clients, and I always used to kind of call it technical color commentary that I would play during those meetings, just to the why, how of the design and what we were doing and why we were doing it and why this particular server was the right choice and all of that type of stuff that you're very familiar with now as well. Mm-hmm. And there was a point where you and I were working together on the service side of things. That was fun. Not sure. I like to think that was our glory days when Vision service was the best, but I think that's just I think that's just me making that up because we have
an old tale we're holding on to. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Fisherman's story.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's I think at this point, I think I've had just about every role in the company other than HR operations, much like you. It's but just about you. I think you've had every technical role at this point as well. And now obviously I'm more on the sales side of things, and which I enjoy as well. That's more of my history. Growing up, I was never the techie. I was never the gamer. I was always, I would prefer to go out and play sports. And my first couple of jobs were more in the sales side of things. I worked for Play It Again Sports, just doing, part-time sales and stuff. That was always kind of where more of, I guess, of my passion was. I really enjoy helping people. And, so that's from a sales side of things. I've never enjoyed the, salesy part, I guess, but I enjoy providing information to people and just helping them make a decision. So it's been good. I got kind of involved in the technology side of things. I remember I was sitting at my now in-laws' house. It was when I was had just gotten engaged, and I realized, well, it's time to get a real job now and stop working at Play It Again Sports. And I kind of looked through the paper and, saw get MCSE certified, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So that was kind of my start into the technology field. Is it just kind of like I was looking through, I read about the job and thought it sounded like it could be an interesting career, and just jumped into it, went out, got certified, and then got a job with a company at the time. It was out in Troy, I think called Linear Logic. And, I bounced around, to different jobs just about once every year, it seemed like. About, I'd stay at a place for about a year, and then I'd leave and go somewhere else until I landed at Vision. And, obviously now I've been here for 16 years and don't plan on changing that anytime soon. So it's been fun, but I really enjoy the whole, like the building, the designing of an IT infrastructure, and looking at long-term plans and kind of putting together, working with a company to put it together a solution that meets their vision. And it's always just kind of been a passion of mine. So it's always worked out well here.
Yeah, I think, for me, one of the things I've loved the most about this is, similar to when you started working and you seen the introduction of the floppy drive, I was able to start working here and see the transition from on-prem to cloud. So, you went to the paper to get your job. I think I went to monster.com. So it's just, we've had similar experiences, maybe a couple decades apart, but here we are, right? And that's what's cool. But, in all seriousness, I think what I loved most about the field, though, in IT is the ever-changing. I can't even tell you next quarter what's going to be the focus, let alone next year, 5 years from now. And I think that's what I like, is it keeps you really engaged. We're forced to keep up with all of the tech, keep up with all of our partners, all of our vendors, learn all that technology, figure out who's going to be the subject matter expert. And it's just this ever-changing thing. There's never any type of monotony when it comes to the job. Every day is different. There's another focus, and it's, let's tackle the problem today. I don't want to talk about it tomorrow. We got another one to address then. So for me, that's why it's worked out great here at Vision is and I think ultimately the owner, Dave, he's had such a strong involvement with the company and encourages us to evolve the business, with him. He's really opened it up for us to have the opportunity to live and learn and, put our mix on the business. And I think that's also what's just been great about it.
Yeah. I knew I hated you, but I appreciate you reminding me why. I didn't even thought about it. We're looking through the paper for a job.
Oh, yeah.
I just dated myself.
I could not let that one go.
No, I know.
Amazing.
I should have thought it through. But you're right. It's, I've kind of always, I've gone into every job thinking like, how would I do this if I owned this company? And I think that's why I bounced around a lot, is that's just that's regardless of what my position was or what the company was, that's just how I viewed things. And I think the reason I've stayed at Vision now is because, like you say, that's the culture of the business. That's who Dave is as an owner. He wants everybody to have that owner mentality and to think like they're, an owner, and he treats them like they're an owner to, the point of, not even really caring too much about like paid time off and stuff like that. It's really just as long as the job's getting done, he wants people to have that freedom as long as they're doing the work. And so I think that's why it's really worked well for me here, because it just really fit my personality. And, from day one, I was able to come to Dave and to the leadership team and say, hey, I've got some ideas about how we could change this or that, or improve this, or have we thought about this offering? And not that every one of them would be taken up on, but every one of them would be listened to, and we'd go through the process of figuring out if it was the right move. So I think that's a big piece of, what has kept me here now for 16 years. And like I say, I don't have any intention of changing that anytime soon, because that's the kind of culture I thrive in. That's the kind of culture I want to work in. That's the kind of culture I want to help build. And, I feel like that's what we've done now over the past 16 years, is just kind of continue to build on that. Anybody in the company can come up with hey, have we thought about this? And we may very well implement exactly what that is, because maybe we haven't thought of it. So that's just I think that's a big piece of the success of the company for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's I'm hoping to another 10 plus years as well. And, we've had a good ride so far for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. Speaking of the company, I don't know that we've ever really hit on that either, but, we both work for Vision Computer Solutions. We're based out of Northville in Michigan, Metro Detroit area. Company started in 1995. At this point, we've kind of gone through, at one point we were doing residential support. Then we were doing residential and small business. Then we just started doing small business. We kind of have evolved as the time has gone, but, we are a managed service provider, a cloud solution provider. And, basically what we do is become the IT department for small and medium businesses that don't have one, or we supplement the IT department in more of a co-managed type relationship. If a company does have an IT manager or an IT staff that, we'll give them access to our tools, support them when they're on vacation or out sick, different things like that. And, it's really our, the majority of what we do. And then, one-off projects here and there, if somebody just needs help with cloud implementation or a new server, new network, whatever it is, we'll do one-off projects as well. But our core is that managed services, whether it's a full, there is no IT staff on site, or more of that co-managed type relationship. And that's kind of where our real bread and butter, so to speak, is.
Yep. And, I think, the key is we've seen a lot of different transitions, the company individually, a lot of different experiences. So to that point, if anybody has any kind of topics, categories, questions, just a reminder, you can submit them to us. We'd be more than happy to talk about it. We want to really try to get a good, diverse set of talking points to cover all different areas and topics. That's why we try to come up with interesting ways to tackle it from a different angle. But that being said, it's anything you want to hear, we're glad to speak on it if we have the personal experience. If we don't, we have great partnerships with different vendors, and we would love to reach out to them to have an expert on a category, to where we can learn about something new as well.
I thought we were the experts on everything. I'm confused.
I figured if somebody submits like pop culture or something, I might have to, we might have to get somebody in, but
right. Yeah. So yeah, we thought, we would just kind of take a little bit of time today and, just kind of go through our history, tell you about who we are and what we've done over the past several years, what got us into this field, and appreciate you taking the time to listen, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Interact with Tech Talk Detroit at techtalkdetroit.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.